Okay, so when last we left, you guys had exited the dungeon with the golems.
Hmm.
The a little bit of narrative before I open up the floor to you guys. I assume that you would head with Gearsworth, Gearoth, and Giruhime to the king to announce your obvious success. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Just making sure you guys didn't like
Yeah,
stop
that's
at
a
the
fair
store.
assumption.
All right.
Yeah, no, there's nothing to get.
All right. So you went to the palace. Do you guys, unless, do you have a reason? Do you want to role play that interaction, or do you want me to just kind of
Narrate it.
narrate it?
Oh, sorry, just give me one moment.
Well, Inferno's dying. I don't
Mhm.
have any particular interest or like role playing the thing. I would accept narration.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm not really one. Well, Pearson isn't really one for speaking formally anyway, especially to kings and shit. So I'm fine with narration.
All right. So you guys got an audience before the king. You were basically let in. There was no business that was so pressing they couldn't put it aside for you returning from the labyrinth. And much to Pearson's pleasure, I'm sure, Gearsworth did most of the talking, telling the king
Ah,
that no.
well, okay. I mean, I'm ambivalent.
Oh. He was just simply very honest and plain, even if he did say it in a very flourishing manner that your group passed all of their challenges and that he and his two siblings are the prize at the end of the labyrinth. And he makes it quite clear, much to... While the king doesn't make any comment on it, the advisors and nobles around him do make some comments on it, that they are not under his rule or command, but under your parties.
I'm going to nudge Gearsworth and whisper three. Three siblings.
Right. Everyone forgets Gearoth. We'll go with him.
Gira, I figured it'd be the little guy.
Well, yeah, I forgot the little guy. I'm just saying that it fits his personality to think everyone forgot him.
Gotcha.
So basically, they make it very clear that they pretty much follow your orders since you're the ones that have proven yourselves worthy. But as everyone's goals seem to be in a line at the moment, that the dwarves can consider them allies as well. You are congratulated. There is a banquet held in your honor, a rather meager one as far as banquets go, though I would say as far as most of you are concerned, still pretty good. At this point, I'm pretty much going to open the floor up to you guys for about a week. See, the journey only took you about, we're gonna say about 3 days total down there in the dungeon. You rested one. We'll say about 2 days to travel and get all that done. So technically speaking, you've still got about a week and a half to 2.5 weeks before the army will be ready. And there's going to be a week of, for lack of a better term, downtime before anything's going to happen. So I'm going to open up the floor to you guys for anything that you would like to do.
Okay. Crickets. Go
I
ahead.
have thought about this because I was informed that this might be a thing, and I sat down and I thought about what my character's action would be. He would probably love to do something. Pretty much anything. He'd probably be itching to do something, but he has no particular thoughts on what. So he would probably be asking people constantly if they wanted to do something.
What do you mean by something?
Climb the mountain, fight the evils, something.
Fight the evils, something. Well, we could spar.
Spar.
Yeah, practice fight with each other. I mean, I could always, you're a good foot taller than me. I can always use practice trying to defeat someone. Pearson pauses for a moment and says, in fact, What I wouldn't mind is to learn a way to disable someone without maybe killing them. Do you think that's possible?
Probable. With
Have you
enough
had experience
restraint,
with it?
you could capture most things.
Really?
For prey, or
No, Pearson says, looking away. It's just that maybe you don't want to kill everyone. You know,
oh,
people tend to be more useful and talkative when they're alive.
well, restraints, traps. It's only if you get the jump on them in a hand-to-hand fight. It's usually a bit sketchier, but
Mm-hmm.
it is always possible.
You've had some experience?
Well, wrestling with boars and trying to get them to stop wriggling so much does give you a few ideas.
All right. Yep, for showing me.
Do you have a boar?
No, we. Just it would have to be either. Listen, either we have to find a really drunk dwarf who will fit into a boar skin, or we'll just have to improvise.
All right. Um. Are you trying to do a larger being than yourself or a smaller one?
Let's start with the smaller and then work our way up.
Where's Finn?
We look around for Finn.
Finn is currently AFK at the moment and will be right back.
Okay.
Is there anybody else who wants to do something while we look for Finn?
To capture her. All right, this will work. This will do. I can deal with this.
Well, should I state what I want to do?
Sure.
All right, I am going to be looking for that. I can never remember the name. I keep trying to call it an artificer or an enchanter or
An artisan.
artisan. There you go.
Well, technically, it would be a special kind of artisan because artisan just means someone who makes things. But you're looking for a specific, a dwarf who is able to create magical items or meld or fold magic into items. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. You could ask around quite easily. The dwarves are exceedingly polite to most people, and even more so yourselves. And it would not be too hard to find several in the town. However, there is one that is considered the dwarf to go to. You know, there's 3 or 4 of them in Vamgalir, but if you want the best work and the most expensive work, you go to the Windfoot.
Okay.
The worst name ever. Windfoot.
Yeah.
Screw it, I'm
I will
committing.
try-
You want suggestions, Squee?
Uh-huh.
Okay, here. Give me a moment. Just real quick.
Yeah, I know. I'm racing for it too. I didn't even think I would need a dwarven generator for some reason.
Here.
We're
Here.
all looking for dwarves.
There you go. There you go. That's my go-to.
I was hunting for it, and I'm like, that comes to mind. That'll work. And it was just about the worst name I've ever come up with in my life. So we're gonna go with Bornik.
Bornik. Okay.
Bornik the Flat Gut is actually his name. He is in the richer part of Amgalir.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically owns a small workshop with a forge in it. He has several, what would you call them? Apprentices. And, yeah, so you're told where it is.
I would like a quote on the thing that I wanted to get
That
enchanted.
is given what's going on and how dwarves are, that's something you're probably gonna have to roleplay
Okay.
because a lot is dependent on how you go about it.
All right. You know what? I should probably try and get that item first because I still don't have that stone. So I will buy a stone first and then approach him.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
How much would that be?
Could you be more specific? You're talking very vague, and I don't have
Yeah,
as
like,
many.
even I have no idea
Okay,
what the fuck you're
Fine.
talking about.
Fine. I want to buy a heart-shaped sapphire.
Got it. Okay.
Okay.
There are not many heart-shaped sapphires. However, these are the dwarves. Gems are their thing. It would not be too hard to pay a dwarf to make a heart-shaped sapphire. Given the size you need, and that you're a hero of the town, I would say a real sapphire with the extra work, we're talking 100 gold.
Okay. I'll pay that.
All right. And then it would take, oh gosh, a day or two. They're rather quick. They've been doing this for a long time. So you would have a expertly cut and polished sapphire in the shape of a heart.
Okay. And then I will spend the next day or so going to the artisan,
Okay.
and I want to talk to him.
Okay. When you enter his shop, like I said, it's very small. It's very cluttered. It's almost in two parts. You have like the store front, and then connected to it is the forge. And when you walk into the storefront, you see a dwarf looking like he's in his silver years. He's got a gray beard and gray hair, but he doesn't look like he's on the verge of what you would say between middle-aged and elderly, if that makes sense. He's still very broad-shouldered, though, heavily muscled, and you would know from your experience of your own forge that he still pounds the metal quite a bit.
Yeah.
Which I think is a term I just coined. So when you enter in the door, he would look up and he would say, "Ah, one of the humans that has graced our town. I am surprised that you would visit my humble shop. How may I help you?"
There is something that I sort of require. I would like a quote on something. On a price of, well, you've probably heard by now that I was one of the people that went into the labyrinths to try and find the golems, correct?
No. I didn't know.
Okay. While we were in the labyrinth, the walls and floors glowed a certain way. It was quite interesting.
I should point out that when you said that, every apprentice in the shop and the sounds in the forge just kind of stopped, and everyone's staring at you. The shop owner, Boric, will go, yes, yeah, okay. You said the stone was glowing?
Yeah, it seemed like it was kind of like a fire, but it was from the stone. I don't know how else to put it.
What kind of stone was it?
It looked like sapphires, and then the next floor was emeralds, and the next floor was garnets.
Looked like or was? Do you know?
I'm not entirely sure. The golem said that their master grew it, so I guess it could be.
His jaw drops.
Hold up real quick. I do remember Pearson saying that the walls and everything were like a very good fake. So that can be your character's knowledge. It's up to you.
Yeah, I will say it then, because I personally couldn't remember.
At the word golem, his mouth drops open, and it's a few seconds before he's able to speak again. He's like, "Did you say golem, as in a steam golem?"
Yeah.
You spoke to one?
Yeah. They came with us out of the labyrinth. We were successful.
Okay, he actually drops what he was holding. It is quite some time again before he can collect himself and he can say, I see. You wouldn't be willing to bring one of them here, perhaps? They could, of course, tell me much more about this stone you were talking about so that I could, what did you need from me again?
I was wondering if you could enchant this, and then I'm going to take out the sapphire. With that kind of enchantment, with a twist.
A twist.
I want it to glow with my heartbeat.
He pauses for a second. You want it to pulse, or you want it to stop glowing
Yes.
when your heart stops?
I want it to pulse.
Ah. I've never done anything like that before.
Yeah. I wasn't entirely sure if it was even feasible. I figured it would be a nice gesture.
He strokes his beard for a while as he thinks about it. He says, feasible? Possibly. I have heard of similar things, though I've not tried it before myself. However, it would not be cheap. And it would require, well, to be very blunt, it would require some of your blood.
That's fine.
He nods.
How much are we looking at?
Oh, I'm not a butcher. A small amount.
No. Price-wise.
Oh.
I've bled before.
Well,
Don't worry
in
about
that regard, I am a bit of a butcher. He says, like, almost apologetically, making his own joke. He says,
it.
such a thing would probably cost you, about 1,000 gold.
Shit. Unfortunately, I do not have that much, so...
His eyes actually widen in surprise, and after a brief pause, he says, you haven't been around dwarves much, have you?
No,
Ah,
not really. I come from Whitebridge. I mean, technically Redwater before that, but still, freelance.
I see.
Oh, you want to haggle, don't you?
Want to.
Oh.
He says, like, almost as if it's unfamiliar to him. He's like, no, haggling is part of our nature. I don't know if there's such a thing as a dwarf who doesn't want to. Let me give you a piece of advice. Given how much you've done for this town, there is no such thing as a set price here in Vamgalir.
Okay. All right.
I tell you
How-
what.
Hmm?
You bring by one of your marvelous little golems. And I will not touch, I swear. I would simply love to talk to such a creation of Toland the Mad. And I will give you a reasonable rate.
Okay. What would this reasonable rate be?
He kind of shakes his head again and he says, you really have not been around dwarves much, have you?
No, I really haven't.
He sighs.
I've heard of them. Somewhat.
I am a little bit beside myself. I am almost as lost on how to proceed as you are. How about this? What do you feel would be a reasonable rate?
Well, I think my next question would be this. How do you guys value dragon scales?
His eyes widen again, and he says, As in, how much would we pay for dragon scales? We
Yeah,
would
sort of
pay-
like an exchange kind of thing.
Oh, dragon scales are very valuable indeed. They are incredibly difficult to come by and very beautiful. I have not known many dragons willing to give them up, or adventurers brave enough to hunt after the ones that shed. What are you offering exactly?
If I bring my friend here, and he is a friend, he would have to come of his own volition, and I were to give you 2 dragon scales, would you be interested?
What kind of dragon scales?
Blue.
He sits for a second quietly and he says, "Those would be valuable indeed.
Mm.
I would... 2 dragon scales would not be enough to pay for such an enchantment, especially when much of it would be something I've never done before. But you give me 2 blue dragon scales, a chance to talk to your friend, and 100 gold, and I will see what I can do. And I assure you, if anyone in this town can do it, it will be me. And if I can't, I will refund you or fairly compensate you."
Of course. Sounds like a deal. I will go and get my friend. Thank you.
All right. He nods to you, and you, I assume, go back to the palace.
Yeah, and I'm gonna try and look for Gearsworth. Gearsworth. There you go.
Gearsworth.
Yeah.
All right. You find Gearsworth in the dining room of the palace, talking to an advisor to the king. You've seen him before. It's not the one that you guys were, or were not, quote unquote, talking to when Fabrizio was there, but you've seen him around the king constantly. He is a young dwarf for an advisor. His beard is still golden, and it's unfair to say talking, because Gearsworth is talking. Oh, it's unfair to say they're having a conversation, because Gearsworth is talking and he's listening, mostly. And as you draw closer, you hear Gearsworth talking about all sorts of history. Ancient dwarven battles and basically ancient world history. However, as far as your character knows, the little history you do know about the Freelands, and from what you hear him saying, it doesn't match up.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Hmm.
Okay.
Do you...
Hey, Gearsworth. If you don't mind me interrupting.
Yes, Master King, how may I help you?
Would you be interested in going for a bit of a walk with me?
Well,
I have somebody that is interested in talking to you. Just talking.
you don't say. Well, lead the way, Master King.
All right. Let's go. And I will lead him back to the artisan.
All right. So, and I'll speed it up along a little bit. You get back to the artisan. Gearsworth follows you, and Boric is suitably impressed. And after a lengthy conversation with Gearsworth about, all things Golem, that most of it you wouldn't quite know what they were speaking of or talking about, and quite a bit of talk about Toland, he looks to you and he says, "You have certainly filled part of your bargain. If you could just give me the 100 gold and the 2 dragon scales, and I will get to work on this immediately."
Right. Okay. Squee,
Mm-hmm.
I don't have nearly enough control to, make my arm full of scales.
No.
No?
Not just like that, you don't.
Not like that. Okay. All right. I have fulfilled part of our bargain.
Mhm.
The next part will take a couple of days, if at all possible. Is that all right? Well, a few days, maybe.
The dwarf nods and he says, "You are one of the saviors of our town. If there is anyone trustworthy, it would be you."
All right. I will see you in the next few days.
He nods. And, okay. So,
Yeah.
mhm.
You're going to assume that I'm going to be practicing my transformation, correct?
Correct. Here's going to be one issue you might have to work around.
Mm-hmm.
Dragon scales are very large.
True.
A transformed
true.
dragon arm would not be.
Yes.
But I will leave that up to you.
Yeah. And while I figure that out, would anybody else like to go?
I'm good. I think the idea is that just Cole and Pearson and maybe Finn are going to just do a little bit of training together, and I'm content. Honestly, I don't think there needs to be too much more individual RP in regards to that.
Okay.
I think the extra that I put in there is I would probably take something out similar to bolas. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And would probably try to teach him how to use those.
Oh, I like that. That's cool. That's interesting. I believe that Pearson would find that very useful. Thank you, Cole.
All right. Then I will, for the sake of, again, speeding things along a little bit. Keen, I know you are practicing this. I'm going to just have you roll a percentage die.
Okay.
Is there anything you could think of you'd like to do that might modify that?
I can't really, figure anything out to make a big scale.
No. I mean, basically, if you succeed, you'll be able to transform enough to get the scales. I was saying something that might help you achieve such a thing. In the
Maybe get some help from Olivia.
That is certainly doable.
Some coaching. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Here is what I will do, because this was you would find this out the next time you were at the ring anyway. Olivia is on her way to you.
Oh.
So,
okay.
You have, like I said, you guys have a week. So what we'll say is that during that week, after about 2 days or so, Olivia arrived. And the rest of the 5 days could be spent coaching you on how to do it. So roll me a percentage die.
Okay.
Yeah. Not yet.
Damn.
I will tell you this. The artisan, Bordric, will be patient and trusting and say that obviously you're headed out with the army. Next time you're near Vamgalir, you can pick up your item and pay him then.
Okay.
All right.
That works for me. Yeah.
All right.
Groovy.
So, I believe there's nothing else anyone wanted to do during that week.
No.
No.
All right. Then, like I said, after a week or so, you guys have been resting up and healing. This is only about still halfway. The army is still getting prepared. During that week, you have noticed a large increase in dwarven troops as King Vamgalir's call to the other settlements in Moonhelm have brought forth warriors. And for everyone except for Dralin, this is your first look at not just a dwarven warrior, but a dwarven army. And it is a sight. They all... The dwarven, and you would all know this because it's common knowledge in the world, the dwarven army is not known for having the most numbers or even the best trained soldiers, even though they are highly trained. But they are by far the best equipped soldiers. Every dwarven fighter has full plate mail and weapons of steel and glimmering polished metal. They are incredibly disciplined. They march in rank and file without missing a step or a beat. You'll see in the parade yards of the palace very complex formations as the dwarves practice their formations and their marching every morning. You see a lot of maintaining of equipment. In other words, if they're not training or practicing, they are polishing their armor, sharpening their weapons, maintaining their gear. It is almost, it's not just their job, it literally is their lifestyle. And as the days go on, you see more and more, and Vamgalir starts getting very crowded, and you start to see an encampment of soldiers gather around the outskirts of Vamgalir. After, like I said, about a week, you are all summoned by King Vamgalir to not the throne room, but his personal antechamber. And it is about 4 in the afternoon-ish, so late afternoon, when you are all summoned. By phone.
Hello. Who is it?
Hello.
This is the king.
Thing? Oh, hello. Are you all ready to go?
Well, yeah.
So you are all summoned to his antechamber, and once you arrive, you see he is there. He is there. Olivia is there, and your group, as well as Gearsworth and his siblings, who seem to follow you guys almost incessantly, unless you tell them to stay put.
Wait, I'm confused.
Mm-hmm.
How is Olivia there? I thought she was back.
No,
She
as I
flew.
told Byrne, after 2 days, she actually traveled to Vamgalir to help Byrne practice.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I must have spaced out. All right.
And when you get to the antechamber, the King Vamgalir says, "Welcome, my friends. We have heard of a development through the journal back at Sunset Tower. Lady Celine has requested an urgent meeting,
Okay.
and I thought you would want to be there."
Of course.
And with that, he will pull forth the same object that you guys touched last time to go to the meeting place, and bid you all to touch it again.
And I will do so.
Okay.
I will be the last to touch it,
Okay.
just in case.
Okay. When you guys touch it, you show up back at Keen's house again. And there, waiting for you, is only Lady Celine. And she looks, even though it's only been about a week, or a week and 5 days or so since you talked to her, she looks noticeably leaner. Not starved or anything, but definitely thinner than you remember. She also looks incredibly tired. And she is simply sitting at Keen's table when you arrive. And when you do, she looks up and she says, "Good, you responded quickly. Please have a seat. We do not have much time."
All right, well then, let's do without the formalities. Tell us what the matter is.
First, let it be known that the Sunset Tower is fine and still stands, even if I have had slightly more difficulty than I anticipated. This is not about us. It seems that Azil is not going to wait for us to act, and by now I can only assume that he is aware that Fabrizio has been slain and the dwarves are massing. I do not know what he thinks our plans are, but he seems wise enough to cover all his bases. Not only has the siege renewed its efforts, but my scouts tell me, and when she says scouts, she nods to Olivia, that there is a small but powerful force leaving the free lands and marching towards the orc lands. Hang on one second, everyone. Just want to let you guys know, Kriana just is not feeling well. So she is going to step out for the night. Kriana, I understand. I hope you're feeling better. Get some rest.
Yeah.
And I will fill you in on everything. So, just so you know, and then I'll go back to what Lady Celine was saying. She says that a relatively small force of a few hundred demons are marching towards the Orklands. And given the speed and the size, Lady Celine says, my best guess is that Azil knows the dwarves are coming, and he's not sure where they're going to strike first. And he knows as well as we do that if the dwarves free the orcs from the Lich King's aggression, things will get very difficult for him. My guess is this force is designed to try and circle around the orcs before the dwarven army has a chance to move and crush the orcs. It is not an extremely large army, but when you are hitting a force from behind, you don't have to be very large to cause a lot of chaos.
Yeah.
So I reckon that the Lich King and the Azale's alliance is still strong if he's bothering to do that.
Yeah.
Lady Celine nods and she says, that or they are still much stronger together than they are apart.
Well, let's stop that then.
She nods, and then, hang on, she rolls out a map on the table, and I'm going to basically move you guys to Ardenfell's map. And if you could, so you know what I'm talking about. On the map, right where pretty much the Freelands border the Orklands, Olgaha, you will see a road and a river.
Okay.
Yes, right there, right where you're pointing.
Okay, there we go.
Lady Celine will lay out the map and she will say, as I'm sure you're aware, the difficulty comes in tracking the forces and engaging them. This area is nothing but open tundra and grassland, and this force is small enough to move much more quickly than a dwarven army could. You must find a way to cut them off and bring them to the fight.
Wait a second. Having to track and find someone only works if you don't know where they're going. We know where they're going. They're going to attack the orcs themselves, the orc main battle line. We just simply have to intercept them beforehand.
Lady Celine
Correct?
nods. She nods. And she says, given where they are and the direction they're heading, my guess is they're headed for the Bridge of Duras, which is, I don't have it on the map, but she'll point it out. There's a road that leads, over this river. This river, she says, is very fast flowing and very difficult to ford across. So long ago, the dwarves, in a gesture of goodwill to the Freelands, built a great stone bridge. They must cross it if they plan to move quickly. If they cross that bridge, then they would not have to worry about fording a river again until they pass Vubub.
Great. Then the only question is, if we left right now, would we be able to get to that bridge before they? When did they leave? Do you know?
From what I've been told, they left 2 days ago, but they have yet to reach Homestead.
All right. Our new golem friends, they don't need to eat, they don't need to sleep, do they?
Everyone's going to kind of shrug at that one.
I'm going to assume they don't, considering they're not made of flesh and blood. Therefore, they can go ahead of us. They can be our vanguard, and they can at the very least, be some sort of presence at the bridge before we catch up. Even demons, I think, might need to have... They are not immortal in their constitution. We might be able to get there beforehand. We might be able to stop them right at the bridge. It's a worthwhile effort, don't you guys think?
Seems like a good idea.
Yes.
Good.
What does the king think?
The king, he would nod, and he would say, "There is wisdom to your plan. A small force of dwarves could move fairly quickly. If your golems were to delay them, possibly even before they got to the bridge, long enough for our forces to set up some sort of defense or destroy the bridge or any number of possibilities, it could end this threat before it even touches orc lands."
Here's an idea to add on to that. Your the golems head off right now to delay and to harry the enemy engagement, which eventually they will regroup at the orc side of the bridge with your dwarven fellows, with this small contingent. Your goal is to hold the bridge, while our group, we will circle around behind them on the other side of the bridge and attack. They wanted to attack the orcs from behind, well, we can give them the exact same thing. Between us and that rear, and you and the golems in the front, we will chew through them.
Make all due haste to Nimdor, then go south.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting move.
Well, you learn a few things on the streets of Whitebridge.
Mm-hmm.
And fighting on a bridge is, well, one of my strengths.
Yeah, it's probably second nature.
Very much so.
And I would thoroughly enjoy using their tactic against them. I'm for this.
Wonderful. Drawlin?
Drolin offers a non-committal shrug.
That's as good as we're going to get. All right. Let's do it.
Lady Celine would say, "I will leave you to it. However, I will caution you one thing. The force, as far as we know right now, numbers in the several hundreds. Your group, as powerful as you are, is but 5. If you are to hit them from behind, do you think that is enough?"
Yes. Because who says we're going to wade in fighting like soldiers? We can skirmish from them. We can vex them.
Wait, hold on, Pearson. I've got this. Now, I just heard just a few minutes ago that the demons didn't count as many, but you don't need to be much in number in order to create an effect.
Lady Celine will close her eyes and smile, and she'll say, "You are quite right, Master Drolin. Perhaps I am just tired. I will leave this to your best judgment."
Drolin politely smiles.
There you go. Yeah, it's true. So there we go. All right. Well, let's do it.
Yeah.
Before you go, there's one more thing we should discuss. When you get to the orcs, you'll have a decision to make. And of course, I would assume you would wait and assess the situation before you make this choice. But if everything goes well, and as we wish it to, you will have to choose how far you wish to press this. If this is an opportunity to destroy the Lich King, or simply to push him back. If you...
Lady Celine,
Go ahead.
I can't speak for my friends or my traveling companions or those who are going to fight beside us, but I intend on putting the pressure on the Lich King so much that he'll either decide to join us or face annihilation. We're going to make him an irrefutable offer. And if that means theoretically breaking every single bone in his army, then so be it.
I don't think we have enough time to do that before the siege at Sunset Tower would fail, or rather would succeed.
We'll
That is
take it
true as
one
well.
day at a time.
All right.
How much longer can you hold out, Lady Celine?
She sits up a little straighter and she says, I may look tired, but we are holding strong. In fact, we've lost very few of our numbers so far. We are not an easy, what's the charming expression the elves use? Nut to crack.
Hmm.
If you choose to hunt the Lich King, at his full strength, I doubt even your group, as powerful as you are, would be enough to take him. But there may be a way. The Lich King's power is tied to the forces he commands. After all, he is the one that allows the undead to move. If you find a way to engage the majority of his forces in a decisive and brutal conflict, win or lose, you can drain him. And if you can find him while he is drained, that may be your only chance.
We'll see, sure.
She nods. I wish I could
One
give you
thing-
more information, but
It's fine.
One thing at a time.
One last thing, Lady Celine, Carla, Samantha, Danielle. How are they?
they are good. They are scared, but they do a good job of hiding it.
Good. Well, they
And
should. They're Clone Wars.
She will smile tiredly. They are that indeed. Then, my friends, I must get back.
How is Kip doing?
Oh. My apologies, I really must be tired. You'll have to let me know that, as he is headed towards you and should be arriving in a few hours with another friend of yours.
Awesome. It'll be nice to see him again.
She nods and then she says, Is there anything else you would need from me?
Nope.
No?
Godspeed, Lady Celine.
Mm-hmm.
To us all.
Look, she's not going anywhere. She just teleports back to Sunset Tower.
Wow.
It's an expression, Drawlin. Don't worry about it.
And with that, Lady Celine will disappear.
Look, I know this is your house, and I don't mean to impose, but what do you mean? It's an expression, don't worry about it.
We meant to wish her luck.
She doesn't need luck. She's one of the most powerful people in the entire world.
How about we...
It
how
doesn't
about we take
hurt,
our-
does it?
It's fine.
I-
Let's take our frustration out on those who are more deserving of it.
Yeah.
I reckon we have ourselves a long and hasteful journey if we're gonna do this.
Yeah, we do. King Vambulir,
The king will nod.
can we either buy or borrow some horses for this journey?
He exchanges a look with Drawlin and then looks back to you and says, Dwarves don't keep horses.
Oh, there we go. I guess we're hoofing it. Pearson says not all that bothered. So let's pack our
Yeah.
things.
This
We can
is
go over the
perfect for
details on the
you,
way
Pearson.
Yes, it is. Pearson says without a smile, it is perfect. Let's go.
He does say, however, I can spare some potions of rejuvenation that might speed your journey.
Very much so.
That
We'll
sounds
need to
good.
Every single hour that we can get.
He
Yeah.
nods. I have 500 dwarves that will be ready to march within the hour. They will set out to hold the other side of the bridge. The golems, of course, are yours to control how you feel best. If you can't stop them completely, delay them for a week, and I will have my forces past them.
Sounds good.
All right.
And with that, he takes his hand off the the cylinder, and he disappears. And of course, just like last time, you guys can choose when to stay or go.
Godspeed with the study.
I don't know about you guys. I'm having a fucking drink. Okay, I need to process this.
Like in real life or in the game?
No. At Keen's house, he's going to go downstairs and get his keg, pull it out, and have a drink.
Which you'll notice, surprisingly, has been refilled. Or as if it was never touched.
Mm-hmm. All the food here, I don't know how, seems to magically be here whenever I come here. So.
Well, unfortunately, I don't think we want to be here much longer. I think haste makes way, so to speak. So, yeah.
Go for it. I'm just going to have a drink.
All right, well,
What does that saying mean? Haste makes waste?
Haste makes waste? It means if you... Pearson says, listen, on our way, we have a long walk ahead of us.
Like I'm going
on the way down, I will inform you of every slang, every slogan, every idiom, every saying that has ever graced my mind, and I promise I will do my best to explain it, but no guarantees.
The freelance is rather quite fascinating. I actually thought I knew most of you humans, and what you said.
Well, there's always someone that's going to surprise you, Drowlin. Pearson just gives a nod as he leaves Keen's home to get to get his things and get ready for the road.
Yes, Drolin is following Pearson.
Drolin, please tell me when he starts his lessons.
You're his friend.
All right.
I'll give a fucking seminar.
Yeah, I'm just gonna stay there for like 10 minutes, drink a couple of mugs of ale, and then leave.
So I have an idea that perhaps might be fleshed out as we travel, and this is just something that I will talk to the group about out of character, and Pearson will bring it up in character.
Mm-hmm.
The siege, as mentioned before, as Drolin aptly said, if we want to really press the Lich King, that might take a matter of weeks, even more so, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we do have something to worry about as far as time with this siege, right? That's going over the Sunset Tower. Well, how can we break that siege without us actually having to be there? I thought that, well, what's his name? Fabrizio's mom, Dementia, is leading that siege, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's her power that's really draining Lady Celine.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Dementia might be a demon bitch, but we were warned that she would not take the death of her son lightly. How about we goad her into attacking us or leaving the siege to pursue us? I'm thinking that we can come up with a song or a poem or just a tale of how we murdered Fabrizio and how we will defeat Azael. And we'll have Lady Celine read it.
All right, I hear what you're saying, and you have shoehorned in the idea of somehow getting the attention of Dementia.
Yeah.
I think that idea is a waste of time.
Oh? Why?
Yes.
Just out of curiosity.
I just don't feel like it's a worthwhile consideration. I don't think that goading this person is going to be any more accomplishable through that than it would have been by killing the child and basically snubbing our noses at a demonic invasion who has invaded countless worlds over the past millennia.
It's true. My only thought was that maybe the only reason she's at Sunset Tower is because she's doing what Azael says, right? She thinks tactically it makes the most sense. But if you can stop people from thinking rationally and have them start thinking emotionally, that's when they can start making mistakes.
I think from Lady Celine's own words that Lady Celine's been doing that to Dementia for the past several weeks now, constantly
She has.
antagonizing Dementia on account of the fact that your power is not welcome here and I'm beating your ass. Ha ha ha.
Yeah, essentially. and to possibly have Lady Celine read a poem about us killing her child on top of that, that might redouble her efforts.
Right,
And-
who would be reading it? Lady Celine.
Yes,
Where's
Lady
Lady
Celine.
Sunset Tower?
Yeah, it's true.
Plus, we have bigger fish to fry with the fucking Lich King. At the
Okay,
moment.
it was just
I-
a thought.
I know it's a good thought.
Uh-huh.
I do
But
think that we
it's
need to
not
do
going-
something about the Sunset Tower and not
Oh,
the
we do.
Definitely.
We definitely do.
that we're not going to be able to do anything until we actually arrive there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we have enough allies that we might be able to actually rally something. But
Well, the plan was that the Azael probably assumed that the dwarves were going for Sunset Tower, right, to alleviate the siege. But we're giving him the old rope-a-dope, and we're sending him down south to help the Lich King. Now, he sent this to LaForce to prevent that, right? But we might be able to seriously surprise crush the Lich King. And
The-
bias...
The player hope whenever we agreed to basically go help the orcs was that by alleviating that, we would stand a better chance of alleviating the siege on Sunset Tower instead of just sending the dwarves.
Exactly, we'd have
Yeah,
orcs and
because the dwarves number like what 20,000, and the orcs number something like 80,000. So
Well, who can say what exactly their numbers are today?
yeah,
at this
it
point,
is
right?
it is according to the lore the biggest army in the by itself, without any other nations helping us. It is the biggest army nation.
That's what the orc propaganda wants you to think.
Yeah. Okay. This is coming
Okay.
from a dwarf.
Okay.
Orcs would say that they're the biggest army.
Regardless, since
look
the
how tall I
idea
am.
of goading dementia has not gone completely in favor with the group, how about we just continue on? I'm going to just use the washroom real quick, and then I say let's rock and roll party time.
Hey, I'm gonna use one too. I'll be right back.
Okay, I guess I'll just
I don't know. Please tell me. Bard. All right then.
Nope, you get nothing.
I was all nice and courteous. Maybe I
It's like-
should say his mom is stupid.
It's like the artwork Kinsey put up that she drew before Kriana left, where like just Finn just standing there with Cole and Pearson peeking around a rock. And she was all,
I gotta go look at that stuff.
yeah, there's an Ace Attorney party that went up a few hours ago. Cole has never looked that dapper.
Oh my gosh. Alright, I see unicorn with a middle finger.
Drawlin, attorney at law. Also, how dare you say my mom's stupid? Mean.
Burnerator exercising his headset power.
Yeah, son. Never actually AFK now, huh? What?
Shut the fuck up, Inferno! You weren't here. You don't know.
You shut the fuck, Grimmith. I can say what I want.
You shut the fuck. Where's the preposition?
It's
Well, what
I
fuck
don't
am I
know.
shutting?
It's like,
You
where am
shut the
I-
fuck
how
door.
am I supposed to shut the fuck? Do I shut it up? Do I shut it down? Do I shut it left? Do I shut it to the right?
I said shut the fuck up, didn't I? Did
No.
you say shut the fuck?
You said
Yeah,
shut
you
the
just
fuck.
said shut the fuck.
You shut the fuck.
What did I just sit down to?
Shut the fuck. Shut the fuck, Squee.
Shut the
God.
I'm so sorry. I don't know what I did.
Hey, Squee.
Hmm.
Is Olivia traveling with us?
Yes, she is.
Awesome. I was just wondering.
Yes, she is. She is definitely traveling with you. She just heard that 5 of you are going to circle around and take on the back of a demon force. Sounds like fun.
Look, I'm totally glad that she's here to alleviate the sausage fest that we got going on. Definitely.
Just because Kraz AFK doesn't mean she's still not here.
That's exactly what that means. AFK means away from
She
keyboard.
just like phases out of existence.
That's right.
You mean
She goes
spin.
that dimension that you summon whenever you roll a 20 with your bracers.
Just a small white puff of smoke.
Oh my god, chat's freaking the fuck out.
Okay. Anyways.